Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of September 9th, where this week, not only do we still have Mars out of bounds, and we're going to talk about that because that's a lot of energy. When any planet goes out of bounds, we get out of bounds as well. So we'll talk about that. But we have also got Mercury going back into the energy of Virgo, so getting back into home court territory and making its way by the 11th out of the post-retrograde shadow time, which means that we are solidly going to be making decisions on things that are new now. We can really implement plans and move them forward. As well, we're going to have the first quarter moon, and at the end of the week, that Mars that is out of bounds is going to come into a square with the nodes. So we've got a little bit to talk about with that. Overall, all in all, here's the end at the beginning. I do think that it is a pretty good week, but we do need to be mindful of what Mars is doing, especially because Mars is now traveling in Cancer. So things around the family can be very, very inflamed, but also Mars is happy to kick it up to the surface so that it can cut away what is dead, what has died off, what is too rigid, so that there can be some emotional health and wellness. So I want you to have that in your mind at the beginning of the week. If you are new here, I just want you to know right away that the timestamps for every single day are in the description box down below. So please make sure if you need to go to a certain day, you've got a business presentation, don't do it on Monday. If you have a business presentation, whatever, click to the day that you need in the description box down below. And while you are down there, get your 2025 digital transit calendar. I'm so excited about that. Tiffany has really put in a lot of work. And if you've never used the digital transit calendar, had it come to your phone or your tablet or your laptop, however you do you, it is fantastic because my favorite thing about it is that it has all of the transits. Tiffany gives a beautiful little breakdown of it, but also I love it for the void of course moons. We cover that on this channel, but it's just a reminder that the universe is kind and loving and to pause and to stop. It's really not go, 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 go all the time. So I love that when that little reminder comes up for me. So if you like that, if you like being in step with the transits and understanding more about how the transits, especially because so many of them repeat, how that impacts you and your personal astrology, get the transit calendar. I've got a code in the description box down below so you get a little discount as well. And if you really are ready to do some learning of astrology, my Astrology 101 class, the first one, the foundational class from my new school, GAFA, the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy. It is ready for you. And while the school is being built, you can take it on for $67. Okay, so it's 6 beautiful classes. Actually, I believe it's 7 at this point. So jump in there if you're ready to start learning your astrology and how to interpret and how to be fluent in this beautiful language. It's down there for you. Would love for you to take advantage. Okay, you need a reading. It's all down in the description box down below. All right, into the week we go. So first off, right here on Monday, we want to keep in mind that coming into this week, the week before we were in our new moon time, right? We had our new moon happening in Virgo energy, which how are you doing, by the way? Hopefully you were able to plant those seeds of intention to begin something new in your cycle. Remember that cycle is not going to close out and come to culmination until December of 2026. So we have some work here. Now, why I think that's important to bring up going into this week is that we're still in the realm of magic a little bit. But as we're coming in on Monday, we see Mercury move into the vibration of Virgo, and it's back. It's already been here. We saw it. But now it's not only moved back, it's continuing to move towards that post-retrograde shadow time, which means that it is not in the retrograde cycle at all. So those seeds of intention that you have planted to begin something new, to begin this cycle of getting organized, healthy, getting your fitness together, the ways that you really want your life to be of value. You want to serve other people, your connection with nature, animals, words, your word magic, all of those things. Now they can begin to move really forward. So much forward that I think we feel it this week where it's like, okay, those calls, I was waiting for people to call me back for like a month. Where have they been? The plumber, you cannot be that booked up, but really they were booked up. And now you're going to start to get those phone calls back. Decisions can be made and you can feel a lot more grounded about it. Now, as we're also coming in on Monday, the moon is traveling through the vibration of Scorpio. So as we're coming in, the vibe on Monday, the moon day, is a bit scorpionic, right? It's still a bit more introspective. You're a little bit more like, I'd maybe like to be in the house, or I'm going to be over here, you be over there. It's a bit more private in terms of the energy. So even as you're coming in on Monday, one of the things I would invite you to do is give yourself the gift of time on Monday. Give yourself a slow morning when you're getting up. And this is early morning. This is going to be from midnight until about 11 a.m. And this is Mountain Time, Colorado. Okay. Give yourself a slow morning. Set your alarm on Sunday night to give yourself extra time on Monday morning so that you have time to very intimately, Scorpio, be connected to your day, to your motives, to your meditation, to your emotions as you're moving through the beginning of the day. Scorpio is also one of our energies that handles like just this really deep, passionate, orgasmic kind of energy. So where is this in your story on Monday morning? Are you taking time to really be in the depth of your skincare? Are you really taking time to be in the depth of your breath? Are you really taking time to, maybe journal or do movements, move your hips, allow yourself some time in the morning to be that snake-like scorpionic energy and move through your own body and space and see how you're connecting. It's a wonderful opportunity to do that. Now, as we do get later in the day, we're going to get to, what time is this? We're going to get to 11 a.m. and this is again Mountain Time, going to 11:25 a.m. Mountain Time, Colorado time, and the moon's going to be void of course. So we've got a 25-minute void of course moon time. And if you have not experienced the void of course moon, or you're not used to hearing about that, it's a time when the moon is not making any connections to any other planets before it is going to move into a new sign. So the energy is kind of distorted. It's not clear, because the moon needs reflection. It's just reflecting. So it needs something to be bonking off of. And here it's like, whoa, I'm not bonking off of anything. I'm just kind of in travel. So it can be a bit nebulous, It's not a great time to be starting new projects. It is not a great time to be making decisions if you can avoid it. It's more of a 25-minute break in your day to come back home, to connect, to put it down, to stop thinking about that thing for a minute, to stop doing that thing for 25 minutes, to refresh, to meditate, to breathe. If there is something that you're like, oh, I've been working, or my attention has been this way, and I have something I just need to finish up. Finishing is a great energy, but even better if you can give yourself some kind of break to rest, rehydrate, these kinds of things to make sure you are taking care of your little human self, okay? All right, just after that, at 11:25, we see the moon now get out of Scorpio, who's like, I'm in my house. And get into Sagittarius. Okay. So as the moon comes into Sagittarius, first of all, if you have a Sagittarius moon, remember this is the space of your lunar return, and hopefully you have calculated and looked at your lunar return chart for the month so you can see what's on the emotional terrain. What are the themes that are going to be coming into your emotional space for the month? Your lunar return can really show you a lot. And if you've never done your lunar return or you don't know anything about it, I'll put a video at the end. You can also find out more about it on my website, okay? But your lunar return at this time and the moon being in Sagittarius for the rest of us is a little bit uplifting. You found out lots of things while the moon was traveling through Scorpio. What are your motives deeply connected to your ushy gushiness? And you're like, okay, I'm loaded now with this new information and I want to take it out. I want to take it out into the world. I want to expand. I want to travel. I want to go further. I want to go beyond the horizons that I could last month. Right? Emotionally, I want to get on my emotional magic carpet and I want to fly and have a different experience with myself and with the world. Now, I also love that when the moon comes back into Sagittarius, it is that great time, having just been in Scorpio, where the way you can broaden your emotional horizon can be very simple. You just look and you go, where do I need to get real with myself? Okay. And it's not so heavy. It's not like when it's in Scorpio and you're like, I'm a wretch. When the moon is in Sagittarius, you go, okay, that's true. I saw it. So now where do I need to get honest with myself? And I need to get a different philosophy if I'm going to go on my magic carpet and go beyond my horizons, if I'm going to have a different pathway, where can I be a bit more spontaneous with the truth that I found out about myself, right? And it allows me to go on the great adventure. Scorpio has gotten us the truth, but Sagittarius takes us on the adventure, and the journey, the adventure here is of your emotional terrain. Of course, you know, I always like for you to have a little something to snack on when the moon is traveling through Sagittarius. So think about think about fruit, but like not just a fruit, okay? I don't want you to go have a mango. I want you to have like a super mango. I don't want you to have a plum. I want you to have a really fat, juicy plum. Brody wants you to have a plum as well. Okay, so think about things like that while the moon is traveling through Sagittarius. Where can you find those big fruits, that big elephant garlic? Bring that into your life and have that experience. So on Tuesday, we will have the day continue to be governed by that moon traveling through Sagittarius, mutable sign. You're transitioning. You can be a little bit more emotionally worried here on Tuesday, but we will also see that the moon and Mercury are going to be in conversation with each other, and they're going to be in what's called a mutable square to one another. And you'll feel a little bit of this energy on Monday as well, as Sagittarius moon is getting moving, okay? But on Tuesday, I think it's a bit more pronounced. Now, the trick here is we've got the heart and the head opposing each other. Well, they're not opposing, excuse me. They are in tension with one another. They're squaring each other. So your head's saying, I need this. Your heart is saying, I need this. So I would say on Tuesday, if it can be avoided, it's not the day to get into some deep philosophical conversation with someone who's really important in your life, because the head and the heart are just not on the same page. And so what can happen is one or the other of them like takes over and starts demanding to get its way. Or it's worrying. A mutable square, mutable energies can be worriers, and it just taxes the entire nervous system, and there's no rest. So what's a little bit better, I think, here is because something does have to be done. There is a conversation happening between the head and the heart, but what is there to do? Because remember, the square is our 911 aspect of our zodiac here. It's saying something has to be done. You need to do something or you're going to get squished by this square, and nobody would care for that, right? So one of the things that can be done is, first of all, trust your intuition. Trust your intuition, okay? Because the moon is speaking to you. It's showing you that, hey, you've just recently received new information about yourself, about a situation, something like that. So let's quiet and trust the intuition for a minute about what you've recently learned, because you may be getting feedback, Mercury and Virgo. Somebody is sharing information about a situation or about you. And the square is you don't like hearing it, maybe, and you want to share your opinion. You want to preach at them. You want to let them know what it is and how it could be, right? But instead, if you can trust your intuition to say, let me give this person or this situation the benefit of the doubt, and let me just listen for a minute, you might actually find out something that you didn't know that ends up being really, really important. Now, this aspect is not going to last forever. It's the moon. The moon will move on, get out of the way, clean house and get out of the way. So it's not going to last forever. But in that moment, I would say on Tuesday, especially if something comes up and you want to have a big emotional reaction to it, or you want to, yours is the only right opinion, I would pause for just a second and listen. And see what you learn in that particular situation. Now, if you're the person on the other side and you want to just let people know the facts, you want to let them know what it is, and how it should be, you maybe want to just remember that there's going to be a person receiving that information as you deliver it. So kind of keep that in mind and use compassion where you can, okay? All right, Wednesday morning, after all of that business, it's going to roll us into the first quarter moon at 19 degrees of Sagittarius. So the first quarter moon is we are in action. But what are you in action on? You are in action on something that started December 12th of 2023. That was the new moon that was happening at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. So you were planting your seeds of intention. So go back to your transit calendar, go back to your journals, go back to your Google Calendar, however you keep track of your life, go back and see what was happening at that time. What were you planting your seeds of intention to begin? What did you say? I want to go on an adventure. I want to broaden my horizons. I want to travel. Maybe something really foreign you were calling into your life. Go back and see what that was, because it was planted then. And now at this first quarter time, you're going to be in action, tearing down what doesn't work anymore, building up what is next for you in this area. And you're going to be in action until June of 2025. Now, one of the things I like to remind people is at the first quarter time, and we experience this every month, okay? But at the first quarter time, the universe is going to start to weed the garden of things that are not vibrationally in alignment with what you asked for at that new moon. So people, places, and things at a more subtle level could be leaving your life. And I would really encourage you to keep your hands in the boat. Let the universe do the heavy lifting. You've asked for something. You've requested something. And the universe is going to go, okay, let me match your vibe. I'm going to match your vibe in these things, this project, this idea, this weight, this financial behavior, this idea that you've had over here, it doesn't match the vibe. You know, this plumbing situation doesn't match the vibe. So let the universe do the heavy lifting and you build with what you have, and you also continue to take action to build towards what you want. What do you want in the Sagittarian area of your chart? What house is that for you in your chart? If you don't know how to find that, I'm going to put a video at the end so you can see how to find what house it is, because in that house at 19-20 degrees, it's showing you exactly the area of life that you are building. Now, again, we will check back in on this June 11th of 2025 at that full moon time, and we'll bring it all the way to culmination March of 2026. Okay, so be in action, my beautiful friends. Now, later in the day on Wednesday, we get to 6:20 p.m. Mountain Time, Colorado time. And the moon is going to go into a void of course energy until 8:37 p.m. So we have a little bit longer time than our 25 minutes, although sometimes 25 minutes is enough. I read a study that says if you take a 15-minute nap, that's like a full recharge, and it's better than a 2-hour nap. So sometimes 25 minutes is all you need, right? So here, though, we do have a longer period. And it's important to remember that when you're looking at the void of course times, when we do get into longer periods, longer than that 25 minutes, what can happen is, if you're not conscious of it, it's like, how come nothing is working out? How come everything I'm touching is turning to poo? You know, how come nothing is moving forward? Why is this meeting off track? People are not understanding each other. Information's getting distorted, right? My head is telling me one story and it doesn't match what's going on in reality. That's really the other big point of looking at the void of course moon energy, okay? So the moon is going to go void of course from 6:20 until 8:37 p.m. So just know that that's your time to rest. Allow yourself to put it down, rejuvenate yourself in some way. Just after that, we'll see the moon shift into the energy of Capricorn. Okay, now we're in a whole new ball game. First of all, the moon has moved into a cardinal energy. So this is our fresh emotional beginning for the week. And in Capricorn, it's grounded, it's earthy, right? We want to be connected to what do I need to do to be grounded, to be rooted, and to also be stable. I want to know what I need to do to be grounded, rooted, and feel emotionally stable. What do I need to do for myself? What do I need to delegate off of my plate emotionally? I need to say, hey, I'm in a new foundation. This is my fresh start for the month. What am I taking on too much of that I need to be like a Capricorn? I need to be the boss here. I need to delegate in some way. Where do I need to literally bring something more earthy into my space? You know, if you have a room where you have a lot of metal in it, where do you need to, that's a lot of air. Where are you going to bring in a lot of earth? Some of these basic things can come to your grounding attention. Now, also bring in the grounding herbs and spices. We're going to bring in rosemary, marjoram. You know, I really still like cinnamon as a grounding spice, although I've been told it's more of a hot spice. But what do you guys think? I still like cinnamon, makes me feel grounded. I think maybe it just makes me feel like home in some way. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think cinnamon is a grounding spice? Either way, bring in your grounding foods, and pop out. It's almost time for the slow cooker, depending on where you are in the world, okay? All right, just behind that, we see Mercury get into a sextile with Mars, who is out of bounds. So let's cover this Mars out of balance for just a second. So Mars has actually been out of bounds since the 5th, and it will be out of bounds until the 25th. So when Mars is out of bounds particularly, it goes into this position where what we would normally do or what we would normally want or the way that we would normally react or be willing to warrior, to fight, or to be assertive about something, it goes out of our normal realm. So first of all, we can be more impulsive. We can be more aggressive. We feel like we have to be more assertive, and maybe sometimes we do, right? But there's just a more-ness that is going to come with it that is outside of our normal realm. Now, this could be that you are really in the assertive stance for your emotional well-being. This is Cancer, right? What do I need to do to feel secure, to feel nurtured? What do I need to do to have my emotional needs met? But also inflammation with the family. So now, as we see here, that we've got Mercury coming into this sextile with Mars, who's out of retrograde. Remember, Mercury is comfortable. It's in Virgo, so it is comfortable in this position, but Mars is not comfortable in its position. Not only is it out of bounds, but it is also out of bounds in Cancer, where it cannot go directly at what it wants. So there's kind of this swirly energy going on. But here with Mercury in a sextile to Mars, it's created a pocket of opportunity, but we're going to intelligently take action on that pocket of opportunity that's been presented. So with Mercury here, the mind is giving you some ideas. It's giving you some information, maybe a system, maybe a process, maybe something's needed a step-by-step approach to it. And connecting with Mars, it's like, okay, I see what I need to do to get those needs met. I have a strong sense of where and the direction that I need to go to get this done. I also think that it is a great courageous energy. It may be a little bit overly courageous, right? Because Mars is out of bounds, but instead, sometimes we have to come out of our normal behavior patterns in order to find our courage. Sometimes we have to have the courage to move outside of our normal behavior patterns, Mars, right? This is also a great energy. I would say, the first couple days of the week were maybe not great for business negotiations and handlings because there was some distorted energy available, but today I think is very good. Anything that you wanted to get done or you need to succeed at, I think that this is a great energy to get that going and happening. The other thing I will say about it is because this is Mars in Cancer and you don't have the benefit of just direct information and direct conversation, to the best of your ability, you don't have no directness, so try to have clarity. Clarity will be kindness. What is it that you really want? What is it that you are really asking for? What is the problem that you are really addressing, right? Go for clarity because we don't have directness. But remember, this is the pocket of opportunity. So as you intelligently take action on it, what you want is wanting you, and the situation should be able to work out just fine. Okay, winging us around here to Thursday, we've got the sun in a square to Jupiter. Now, the sun's bringing light, heat, life, and motivation. So where the sun is at, you're motivated. You're like, yeah, I'm about this. I want to do this. I want to be about this energy, right? So the sun in a square to Jupiter, first of all, I actually like this, and I say this every year. I think it's a good square energy because it makes you take on some kind of personal challenge. You go, I am motivated to have that. I am motivated to Virgo, to get my diet together, to get organized, to prioritize my life, to create organization in my life some way, to have a life that is full of value, right? You're motivated for that. But Jupiter over here in Gemini there's like this, there's so much information. There's so much information. There's so many ideas. There's so many possibilities about how you can make any of that happen. And the sun squaring against Jupiter is going, okay, listen, no, what we have to do is pick one or two of these things to take on and to go after and to start building towards. Right? I heard this really beautiful thing, and I want to share it with you because I think it's a great demonstration of this. This man was talking about it was actually in the realm of wealth building, but he was talking about, what are the top 25 things that you want to do in your life? Like the things you really want to do, they are important, right? You can feel their importance. Put that down on paper. Write down your top 25 things. From there, I want you to look at the top 3 things that are the most important things. And they are the ones that you feel like, listen, if I don't prioritize these, if I do not do this with my life, your attitude is, if I don't do these with my life, I will feel like I've really left something on the table. Pick those top 3 things. And he's telling this to this guy. And the guy says, okay, I picked the top 3. Now, what do I do with the rest of them? And the man looks at him and he was like, cross them off the list. You've got to go fully to dedicating your identity to those 3 things that are the truth about what your identity, about what your being cannot leave on the table. And you have to cut the expectations that, you're going to be doing all 25 or that you'll do all 25 well. And really, the man describes this conversation about the shock to the system of, whoa, hold on, I've got to cross off these other things. Who will I be without the craving, the over daydreaming, the overspending to try to get those things to happen in my life? Who will I be if I just, Sun and Virgo, focus on really creating value in these 3 things and pouring my whole being into getting it, to doing it, to going after, to prioritizing it? It's this real shock to the system of the identity that it's not that everything's possible anymore. It's that anything's possible if I can prioritize it correctly. Wow. That's really, I think it's a cool demonstration of this energy. Now, to be clear too, we did see this energy before on January 27th of this year. So maybe even pattern track back. What did you want? What was there, this big idea? All of the information's coming in. You had this vision. And now as you're here in June, you're like, okay, I need to cut some of these back. I need to get organized. I'm spending too much money. Jupiter always calls for moderation. I've been doing the most, and maybe it's not so extravagant, but you see where you can cut it back just a little bit. That's a great energy to be working with here on Thursday. And that energy is going to carry us around into Friday as well. And then we're going to get early in the morning here on Saturday. I'm talking 1:34 a.m. Mountain Time, going to 1:53 a.m. So if you're one of our early morning working crew, or maybe you're up at that time, the moon is void, of course, at that time. So let it be a nice, slow. Let it be your beautiful downtime. And just after, we'll shift that moon into Aquarius. Okay, now the moon in Aquarius, again, if you've got a moon in Aquarius, your lunar return is coming up. But with the moon is in Aquarius, it's like, where can I need to innovate my emotional life. I need to have an innovation to my emotional life, which if we think about the pattern of how this moves, you've come from the moon in Capricorn, which has said, what do I need to be steady and stable and grounded? What do I need in my emotional life to make that a reality? Okay, cool. You get 2.5 days to be in that evaluation, to see what it needs to be. And maybe you've had a little bit of a sticking point. I don't know if I can let go of those 25 things. I don't know if I can let go of that behavior. Well, when the moon pops on over here to friend Aquarius, we're going to innovate. This is the energy of Uranus. Boom, right? It's going to bring some electricity and fry off those 25 things that you don't need anymore. It's going to ask us to innovate. You're being too rigid in your thinking. You're being stubborn in here. Where can you let go? Where can you get off the fence? Or where can you just back up into a different seating position in the arena of your life? I always talk about, especially with our emotional lives, we're sitting here on the field. You're in the game. You can see the sweat pouring off of your emotions. It's like, these are the good seats. However, the good seats are keeping you tense. You're stressed. You're getting sweat on your face. Get to the nosebleed seats. Where can you look down into the stadium of your life over your emotions and go, well, now wait a minute. I can detach from this a little bit because I got seats that are further away, and I can look down on it and go, well, wait a minute. I don't know if that's helping me be free at all. I don't know if if that is going to be a mind frame. I don't know if that's going to be an emotional space that is going to benefit my future. The other thing in Aquarius that I think is good to think about, especially in your social groups or any place that you're grouping with other human beings, is, are you the person that people have to be on eggshells around? Is your emotional condition such that people, your humanity around you, is having to tiptoe? Or are you in a space where you actually have enough emotional groundedness to be in, to pour into the collective while also receiving back from it? This is a great energy to consider here. For your herbs and spices, fennel. And somebody shared with me last time I talked about the moon being in Aquarius about cooking with violets. Somebody was talking about a medicine with violets. Another one of you shared a recipe. So thank you guys for sharing with me. Listen, if you've got a delicious fennel recipe, put that in the description box down below. I would love that for us. Okay, late in the day, that's going to move us into the tip of Sunday morning. I'm talking 11:34 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to see Venus come into a trine with Jupiter. And I love this because these are the Bopsy twins, right? They are the benefic energies. And as they come together, we've got the smaller benefic energy, which is Venus, and we've got the greater benefic energy, which is Jupiter. And they are in a trine. So this is creating a pocket of ease and opportunity. Now, the thing about the trine is that while it creates the pocket of ease and opportunity, you have to go to it. It's not like the sextile. You're not innately feeling the intensity or the motivation to move towards it. It's just sitting right there. The door is there. You have to turn the handle and go through. But you're pretty optimistic about it, so it can be just a nice, easy day as you're at the end of the day here on Saturday, coming into a nice, easy energy for the day on Sunday, because this will carry over. Maybe you're like, I want to be doing a little bit of shopping. Yes, let me have some shopping. I want to be cooking. I want to have a nice meal. But whatever it is, the opportunity to enjoy the ease and enjoy the expression of ease, you have to go to it. So I think it's a wonderful time throughout late Saturday, because maybe you're out, maybe you find me in the club, maybe I find you in the club, or maybe I find you in a late night book club. I live in Spain. 11 o'clock is early because they ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. That has never been more real. So whatever you do in your life, maybe you're up at this time, but enjoy it and go to the opportunities. And certainly on Sunday, be social. Let it be a delicious social day where you are, you're not feeling the stress of relationships. You're participating in the ease. You're feeling lucky in love. You're feeling the luck and the love in the air, and you're choosing to go towards it. Because it's not always that the energy is so easy and go be social and it's lovely. Sometimes it's that you are sitting with your husband, you are sitting with your child, and they say the thing that you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And instead of going down that road, instead of keeping that mental attitude, you're handing them the benefit of the doubt. You see the presence of the beautiful universe in them, and you think today is a day to be in the luck and the love. I'm going to just say, I love you. I'm going to just keep my mouth shut. I'm just going to bring you a popsicle, right? Whatever it is. And you find the value in the ease. You find the value in adding beauty, Venus, into your situations. Now, I also think because this is Venus, and this is going to carry you into Sunday, it's a great day to receive things. It's a great day to receive. Venus likes that receptive position. So if somebody is giving you a compliment, don't back it down. Don't go, oh, this old thing. Be like, yes, I bought it 2 days ago at the place and it has pockets. Or just receive the compliment. Practice your receptive skills on this day as well. Now, officially, that energy is going to come into Sunday, but also, when we're really in the Sunday day, we'll have that until we get later in the day, okay? Now, at 8:24 p.m., and again, that's Mountain Time, we're going to see that Mars that is still out of bounds. Mars is going to come into a square with the nodes, okay? So as we experience this particular energy, first of all, remember, because Mars is out of bounds, this can be inflammatory, or it can be the skilled action of a trained surgeon that sees what to cut away. It cuts away the sickness. It cuts away the inflammation that can cause cancer, right? So as we're going to experience this square later in the day, the first thing to know is that it is a square. So as things rise to the surface, maybe it is a fear. Maybe it's a fear of being emotionally vulnerable. Maybe it's the fear of how do I even make a start in these energies. I just want you to know that the energy is there, okay? But what we can also do with that is see where the universe is helping bring and push some things out of you to the surface so that you can see how and why to make a start. But you can also see why you don't need these things anymore. This is not fulfilling to you anymore. Now, what is not fulfilling? Go to the Cancer area of your chart. Which house is this for you? Something in that area of your life is not fulfilling anymore. And the universe is pushing it through you. It's pushing on that limitation. And it's going, look, this is why you don't need to do this. You don't need to crave this. You don't need to desire this anymore. You don't need those 25 things. This is why you can, to that Aries North Node point, you can focus on your 3 things. And you can usher yourself in this direction, and it will emotionally fill your cup. It will nurture you. It will create security in your life. This will change the direction of your family, right? So think about it in that way if the vulnerability and the inflammation begin to present themselves. Now, just behind that, at 11:03 p.m., again, Mountain Time, we're going to see that the moon hits its next void of course period, and that's going to be all the way until 3:30 a.m. coming on the 16th, okay? So you're going to have a nice long end of the day void of course period, because sometimes when those emotions and those fears and those limitations get kicked up, we need a chance to rest and to be with our willingness to take courage to stop a certain behavior, to let go of a certain desire, and to move towards, actions and behaviors and beliefs that take us in the direction of the life that we have said we wanted in our top 3 priorities. So you'll have an opportunity to experience that. Now, for some context and pattern tracking, go back to January 28th of 2024, when we had the opportunity to have a little experience with this. Now, we're also going to have another experience with this. It won't be for a while. So let's focus on this one here on the 16th, okay? All right, my beautiful friends. What a week. I think it's a good week. I think it is a good week. Now, all of these things, how they play out, of course, will depend on you looking at your own chart. So please make sure that you check out this video at the end of this video where it shows you how to find these transits in your particular chart. If you don't have your own natal chart, please click in my description down below and get one. It is really going to be the difference between listening to what's in the weekly weather and hearing and seeing exactly how it's going to play out in your particular chart. I love you a ton. I look forward to reading your comments, especially about those recipes, and I will see you next week.